I'm going to draw a lighthouse. So I'm gonna draw. I might start with the lighthouse. Thinking. Do I have any others? I don't know whether I saved any other references. I didn't, because that would be how I roll. Okay, I'm just going to quickly, I'll draw this, because the sky's going to be the majority of the picture. Mum and me have been watching from the start. She's just gone to bed. Oh, cool. Cool. Well, say hi to her tomorrow for me when she wakes up. Okay. Now, I might even, because we have, I'm just going to Google another photo of one of our local lighthouses. Just bear with me a second. I've just got to get the reference up. Get a photo of it. Images. And I'll just screenshot. What? Okay, well, it's not that one. Hang on. Because where my family live, there's a gorgeous lighthouse. So I'm just going to try and get a photo of it. So I can paint. I've painted it a few times. I've actually got a pastel picture of it up on my wall that I did years and years ago. There we go. There she is, the old beast. And I'm just going to screenshot it because it gives me that. Then I'll just do that lighthouse on this scene. Okay. I'll do some of the beach, not all of the beach, because it's a very rocky, well, lighthouses usually are on rocky outcrops. I will do. My girlfriend is ill. She's in bed with the flu. Oh, no. We didn't get a Valentine's Day. Oh, no. That's no good, mate. That's no good at all. All right, so I am now going to draw this lighthouse. I've got to erase that because this lighthouse doesn't have that on it. And you've got to keep your perspective. Everything's not flat. It's got slight curves. Everything's got slight curves to it because it's going off into the distance, kind of, sort of. I could even draw a boat in the water if I want to. Undecided. See. Now, the height of the doodah is 2 times 1, 2 and a bit times the length of the light on top, and then there's the building at the bottom. See you a week on Thursday, getting the train down. Nice. Awesome. And this has got a hexagonal base. So I'll try and get that. Perspective can be interesting. It's good practice, very good practice, but it can be a little bit confusing at times. You've got to just think, if you're looking at something, what directions do things go? Got to soften the angles a little bit. I've got those angles way too extreme. It's not that big of an angle. Oops, see that and that's not enough. I've got either too much or not enough. Okay, come down here. There's a little gap because that's like a stairway. There's a little gap and that comes in a fraction like that. And then like a bunker that I'd never noticed that there was a bunker on this side of it. Never noticed that before, but there you go. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about the stairs and stuff. I'm just going to draw the cliff because, you know, I'm a glutton for punishment and I can't draw hills and rocks and things. So what are we going to do? We're going to do a shit ton of rocks because that's how we roll. Okay, I'm not going to do all of it though because I've just realised I haven't got much ocean. Ocean comes across here sort of like that. Okay, going back to my references, and I'm going to draw a bit of a beach. I'm also not good at beaches. So I'm going to do all the things I'm no good at because that's how we roll, people. There's a bit of a rock there. You know, why not? Do all the things you're no good at. Because that's how you learn. That's how you learn, is by doing the things that you don't know how to do. And then you get used to it. That's how I ended up drawing birds, because I was terrified of drawing birds. And then it became one of my favourite subjects. I've just realised I've got to change this of fraction. Erase those. Like that, and then that one's much more steep angle because it's disappearing right off. Like that. So there's that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. So it's almost rounded, but not quite. There's door there. Another door there, or a window. It's narrower. There's a door or a window there going that way. There's a little bit of a window on the side of the doodah, of the thing, There's another line there. There's a towery thing, an access point on there like that. Do a bit more of an angle like that. It's like a standy area bitty thingy with all his chimneys on, no chimneys, all his antennas on. There's something on that, and then there's little railings following the direction of the hexagon or octagon. I think it's an octagon actually. Yeah, octagonal shape, and then on this floor there's windows that come to there, like that. Oh, my vacuum cleaner's about to start. I can hear him, little sucky McSuckface, my vacuum cleaner, my little automated jobby. He's a little beast. He does my housework for me because we like that. That's how we roll. I've got to be a bit. What have I done here? Oh no, that's all right. Because that one comes across there like that. Because each one of these is two windows. Got to take that one down a bit more of an angle like that. Okay. Righto, that is pretty much, there's a mountain bit behind there. Got to narrow my doodah up the top. I've made that way too thick. So I'm going to narrow that off for a start. And it's fun. You see, the more you look, the more you see. As you do. Like that. And then that comes out like that. Like that. Okay. Then there's all little... I've got to soften that up a fraction. Got that way too bright. I have no idea how I'm going to do stormy sky, but we'll have fun trying, won't we, peeps? We'll have fun trying. Yeah. Oh, I'm a glutton for punishment, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to draw that cliff there. Like that. Then do some water like that. Then, is there, I can't remember. Oh, there's land in the distance because that's the bay. There's a little bit of land off in the distance there like that because that's a big bay that comes around. Okay, I reckon that's my base drawing. I'm going to just Google, because why not, stormy skies, because I need something to use as a reference. And we're going to go rogue. We are going to go rogue and have some fun. Hopefully, with skies. Just having a quick look. Trying to find one that I like that I reckon I can do. And I might shut the door because the vacuum cleaner's going to come up here otherwise. Oh, don't go to painting. There we go. There we go, shut that door. Okay, because the sky's going to be the focus of this one. Sorry, just still looking. Still looking. Still looking. Ooh. Ooh, okay. That's a fun one. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brushes. I have a spare clean water here. So clean my brushes. And then get some fresh clean water. And I'm going mad here. I'm going to drop it onto the background. I'll cut out around the lighthouse. So just wet your paper thoroughly. That's why if you use a nice quality watercolour paper, it'll buckle a little bit because I don't stretch my paper. You can stretch your paper, which is where you pre-soak it and tape it down. I don't do that. I just tape it on the paper, on the board as I'm doing it. But you can pre-stretch your paper, which will stop it warping. So I'm expecting a little bit of warp on this, which is fine. I come right down to the mountain. And then I'm going to make up, I can even use this blue-grey, make a real stormy, dark blue-grey. Could add a bit of brown to that I've got there. Bit more blue. Bit more blue. Let's have a look. That's a good stormy colour. It's got a bit of heart and soul to it. While that's wet, I'm going to drop in some storm. Dropping in the storm, people, we are. Gotta mix a bit more. Okay. And I can even let some of it run like rain. I'm leaving little gaps for clouds because why not? How am I going to do that? It's not going to work, is it? That's all right. And I'm going to go into a blue now. Go into my blue to the bottom. Because the sky's not all purple. There's a bit of blue in there. Like that. Bring that down to the bottom. I'm not going to even go over that again. I've got to practice me skies. I haven't practiced skies in ages. In ages and ages, in fact. So, a bit more through here. I'm going to lift off a little bit. Create like a... I don't know whether I like that or not. Worst scenario, I end up with a messy bit of paper. Actually, no, I don't like that, so I'm going to wet it again. Like that. And make some super darks. Stormy. We want stormy. I'm going to make some super dark purple. This is going to be scary because this is super dark, super strong. There we go. Let it flow. Let it do what it does best. Like that. I need to even go darker up the top, a bit more grey maybe. Grey it off a bit. I've got to go right up the top. Probably going to make a mess of this, but whoa, okay, we did that. Okay, wet it, let it run down a bit. Like that. I can just lift out a little bit. I don't want, that's not the right shape. There we go. I want cloud shape. Soften the edges. Don't like that. Okay. And I'm going to let that bloom down there because that looks like rain. That does what it wants to do, what I want it to do. Looks like rain nicely. All right. Get rid of any hard lines. I'm going to go an even darker if I can. I need to make a really dark purple. I'm going to go like a bit of indigo into that maybe. And drop that into the wettest areas. And let it flow. Like that. Darkest up in the top corner. So why not? Keep it a little bit everywhere. See if I can have a look. That looks all right. That's all right. All right. I'm going to clean my brush. Let that dry a fraction. Just pick up that water at the bottom. Then I'm going to wet the ocean because we're going to do the ocean. Wet the ocean, going around the rock, not quite going up to the sky. So I'm going to wet that. I go into my ultramarine. I'm going to clean one of my little palettes off so I can put my ultramarine on there. Whoops, the days. Like that, because the water's stormy dark. I'm going to add a bit of indigo to it. While that's still damp, I'm going to mark in the water. So I'll do that. And I'm going to lift off a little bit of, the water's rippling up onto the shore there. So I have a little bit of a ripply effect coming up there. I'm going to go even darker. Now that's wet. I'm going to drop in that blue again. Around that rock. I'm just going to draw the texture, the way the waves will be going into the shore on that wet paper, like that. This gives you the impression of ripples, like that. Few more, but not quite so. Oh, you can see that's bled back up into the sky a fraction, but it's all right because I can put a hill there. I can bring the land out a fraction, so that's fine. Now I'm going to go back to my reference, if I can find it, with my lighthouse. I'm going to draw the cliff in. Now the cliff is yellow ochre. It's a sandy colour. So I've got yellow ochre on my paper here. So I'm going to grab a bit of that. I'm going to mix a little bit of darker brown with that, maybe a little bit of whatever that brown is. Don't know what brown that is, but I'm going to use that. There we go, just to brown it off a fraction. Managed to dirty all my water now. And I'm going to just wet this whole mountain. Or cliff. Hill, whatever it is. The hill. We're going to wet the hill. That's what we're doing. We're wetting the hill. And it's sort of a sandy colour too, so, which works. And there's distant mountain there. try not to come onto the ocean. I've got to draw the sand as well. I've got to try and get the sand in there. I've got a reference that's got sand, sort of. That's right, we'll use that. We'll have a look at that. Okay, so I'm just going to wet that down and dilute it right down so it's pale going to the water, like that. So I've just got a bit of tint on the brush. So it just suggests the sand coming through. And draw that little rock there. I reckon there's a mountain in the distance, so I can draw that in. I'm going to add a little bit more of a grey colour. I'm going to add a bit of brown to my blue to make it grey. And I'm just going to draw this distant mountain in. What the? Oh, it's a bit of a... I've got to go over the bit of a smudge that I did before, like that. All right. Okay, and there's a distant little mountain range in the distance. Ta-da! Okay, I might make that a little bit darker even, because why not? Just at the bottom. You want to go out there? Hang on, let's let my dog out. Off you go then. All right, clean my brush. My very, very dirty water. Hello, Playboy, how are you, mate? Okay, so now the cap. Sky's dry-ish, almost, maybe. You know what? We're gonna do the hill first. We're gonna do the hill. So I'm gonna go in with a bit of greeny brown. Clean off my palette because I made a god awful mess of it. I'll leave the red there because that's, you know, there. Okay. Greeny brown. Ew. That's not greeny brown. Oh, it is. Okay. I want that colour. That's the colour I want. And I'm going to drop that in onto the cliff. Not everywhere, but some of the places. There's a bit of foliage, a bit of greenness on my hill. Like that. You can see the sand through it. There's maybe a couple of little bushes. A bit of scrubby dub. Bit of scrubbity dub coming down to the beach. Let's have a look at my other reference. Comes down to here-ish, sort of. Like that. I'll add a bit of a darker green even, a bit of a stronger green. So less pigment, less water, more pigment. Add a bit of bushness. Bit of bushness down here. Bit more detail into the foreground. Like that. Okay, having a quick look. How on earth am I going to do the sand? Okay, so I'm going to go stronger blue into the background. The background is always darker. So right up to that edge of the mountain there. And I'm going to just drag that down with a damp brush. Soften that edge. And drag it sort of so it comes down in ripples. Like that. And I've got to add, I'm just going to have another look at more references, I think. I'm going to go a bit of cobalt into the foreground. Or need a bit of dark here, so it's darker out there. The deeper water is darker. There we go. And now I'm going to drag that in. Showing little deeper bits. Okay. Like that. Get a bit of turquoise in there too. Do I have a turquoise? I do have a turquoisey looking colour. It's a bit of fun. I'm just going to draw some ripply bits like that. Get a bit of turquoise. Don't know how this is going to go over the top of everything, but we'll see. Let's get it because that's in the lighter parts of the water, which is in the shallower areas. Let's wet that a little bit. There we go, that's looking all right. A bit of turquoise just in the foreground. Like that. And I'm going to do the rocks. I've got to lighten off that sand. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to clean my brush in my clean water. I'm just going to scrub the sand here, get a bit of clean cloth. Scrub the sand. Because I want to lift that off a bit, I think. Because sand is quite light, it's not that yellow. I'm just scrubbing that and I'll lift it with my bit of cloth. Like that. Not everywhere, just in some of the spots. Like that. And right along the edge is darker. So right at the edge of the water is darker because that's where it's wet. So I'm going to go a little bit of this kind of, oh, that's a bit strong, but that's okay. I'll just wet my brush and drag that out. Just in the foreground, like that. That's where it's just wet, the very edge. Add a bit of blue to that as well, a bit of blue-grey. Touch of blue. Maybe. Just in that edge, the leading edge. Like that. Alright. I'm going to add a bit of a stronger green. More of a sap green, I reckon. So closer to the beach. It's down here. Bit more interest right on the edge of the water. Maybe chuck in a couple little grassy bushy textures. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to do anything more than that because that's too much. That'll be too much. Okay, go back to my Lighthouse reference and the sky's got dry now, so I'm going to grab my smaller brush. And we're going to go into the top of the lighthouse, and that is a dark green. I'm going to go in like with this dark green. Definitely not that green. I need a bit more blue in there. Oops, a bit more blue. And I'm going to draw in, paint in. This top is like a heritage green colour. That's the cap on the top of the light. Like that. Then at the bottom comes out like that. And then comes down like that. There we go. Leaving the lighthouse white. It's got it to draw that there. Then add some dark in there. Super dark shadow. It's going to be that side that's in shadow. Pick that bit off there. I'm just going to lift that up. Get my clean brush, clean my brush, and just pick that bit off. I made it a bit too dark there. I want the front to be dark. I can even drop some of that shadow colour, that purpley colour, into the front there. Leave the actual, that bit, the lens part a little bit lighter for now. I've got to come back at the end and do the shadows. Now I'm going to go into the lighthouse itself with shadow colour. And I'm going to use cobalt blue, just a very, very soft wash down the front to suggest the lighthouse in shadow. So I'm just going to wet that. It's wet shadow under there. Like that. Shadow down the front. Comes down to there. And I'll go even, once that's a little bit, or actually I can probably do it now, is go along that edge like that. Then down the front and take that and let it flow back into itself. Like that. Got to tidy up that line there. There we go. Creates that shadow down the front of the lighthouse. Then I've got to do that onto this front of the lighthouse. So I'm just going to wet that whole bit and I'm going to drop in my blue like that and take it down that face of the lighthouse like that. That gives you that shadow down the front, which I will add to after. Pop the blue into the windows because they're reflecting the sky, the purpley sky and the ocean. All right, having a quick look. I've got to do some more with this. What am I going to do? I might go a bit of brown actually over the top of that green. Just underneath. Like that. That's shadow. It's a greeny brown. Like that. Okay. And then draw in balcony bit over my pencil marks. Like that. Come down to the front. And then I've also got another balcony bit just here. Follows the windows around. Whoops-a-days, don't want to do that. Pick that off there. I'll do that bit in a minute, but I can do the front part. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to darken around the edges. There's a little balcony there. Like that. Just going to draw the shape of that cap on the light cap thing. Then there's more little antennas and lightning rods and all kinds of fun stuff coming up here. There's an earth line that comes down here. I won't worry about that actually. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to strengthen up the edge Lighthouse to get a bit more contrast. I missed a bit. I've got to do the balcony bit up there. Take this down the front. Like that, just to give that a bit more of a definite line, like that. So it's starting to come together now. I can draw, that's dry enough. I can draw, whoops, a daisy. Keep your angles right. Like that. Draw that face of that building there. Okay. And I am going to darken off these windows with a bit of deep blue. Because these windows are nearly all dark. But I'll do like the stormy sky colour. Like that. I've got to wet my brush a little bit more just to help me to... Hey Stitch, thank you mate, thank you. Doing something different today. I did a boat earlier, I'll show you my boat. I did this one earlier, my seascape of a boat, and now I'm doing a lighthouse. I'm having a sea day. Having a sea day. I'll darken up this one. There's a bit of a window there. Looks great, thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Darken this one, just the side of it. Like that. Just got to remember the directions of your shadows. Like that. Those ones I can actually wet and make almost completely dark. All right, now this is brown. This is like a concrete. So, got like a concrete browny colour here. Pop that down there. It's like a bunkery looking thing. Comes out there. I'm just going to drop that in like that and take it down to that side of the cliff. Then I'm going to drop some more darker brown mixed with all the different shadow colours into the bottom there. It's like a grey almost. Like that. And then take it across the top like that. Don't want it solid dark. I just want it, I want to leave little bits, little snippety bits, I can lift a little bit of that off if it's too much, like that, and then just drag it out again. Oops. Like that. That just gives it a little bit of interest in the shadows. I'm going to add a little bit more definition to the bushes. Just at the front. A little bit darker into these bits. Make it look a bit more three-dimensional, maybe. Like that. Okay, having a look. And I'm going to go super dark into the shadows on the hill in the background. Over the top of this little rocky bit, little rocky outcrop. Go across the back, like that. It's right at the base of those hills. Like that. Okay. And there's rocks here. I've got to try and draw the rocks. So I'll do the backs of them. Actually, I'll go this really sort of brown. Like that, because that's a rock there. A rock there. A rock there. And these rocky colours. There's a rock there. Just going to try and make them look a bit rocky. Not quite sure how, but anyway. And I'm just going to drag that colour out onto the front of the rock. Just wet with water. So just dilute it, drag it out, connect those rocks a bit. Like that. Leave a little bit of a highlight on the top. A bit more brown. More of a reddy brown maybe. And just while that's wet, connect me rocks again. Add that into the back. That looks a little bit rocky. Looks a little bit rocky. We're getting there, sort of. A bit darker at the bottom. A bit darker at the bottom. It's down here. And again, connect all the rocks. Like that. That's going to have to do that, I reckon. I'm going to add a little bit of diluted purple, sky purple, into the lighthouse there, because you can see that through. I've got to clean my brush. You can see how I've got a little bit, I've got to get rid of that hard line just there. Right next to the roof of the lighthouse. Get rid of that little bit of a highlight. And the white of the paper is the white of the lighthouse. I've got to do a little bit of a sandy texture on there, and I'm going to be very brave and very crazy. I'm going to wet my brush, dip it in my yellow ochre, and that's not going to work. No, that's not going to work. Shoot. Okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to do that? What can I do? How can I make? I can stipple, kind of. Stipple with an old, get an old acrylic brush that's a bit mangled. Dip that in my yellow ochre. Like that. And then try and do that. I'll drop it off a little bit because that was a bit much. Just to create a little bit of sand texture, like that. Take it off the edge. Just a little bit of sand texture with my yellow ochre. Like that. Get a bit more, because why not? All right, and we need seagulls, because you can't have a nothing background. You've got to have a little bit of life in there. So we're going to draw our seagulls, and we're going to use a bit of dark blue because they'd be reflecting the stormy light. Oh God, I've got to get a bit more moisture on my brush. There we go. And we have little seagulls in the background. So I'm going to, actually I'm going to do darker down here because I can. Because I can. Just want to darken up just out there a bit. And just maybe along that line. Just a little. Not solid, just a little. Then I'm going to wet that and take the edges around like that. Okay. I'm going to call that done. So I'm going to sign it. Down in the bottom, get a bit of blue, sign it down. Where am I going to sign it? Over here. And we'll leave that as my little signature, like that. And I'm going to take the edges off and call it done. So that was lots of fun, peeps. So I hope you enjoyed. Oops, 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 oops. Make oops. Okay, is that one on? Oh, okay, there we go. There we go, got it. Up there. And take the bottom bit off. Great work, thank you. It was good fun. It was good fun, but I'm going to call that done. And I better go and do some housework because slack. I've had too much fun this morning. So thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you everyone for being here. You are a world of awesomeness. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day, night, whatever it is, wherever